You are listening to the CAD Call podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The CAD Call podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the CAD Call podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your styling host, and with me, as always, is my partner.
It's Rocco.
It's Rocco, and he's not styling and he's not fun. See, and that's why I make you all suffer through with Rocco, the engineering joke of the week. Okay, Rocco, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you hear about the engineer whose wife suggested he see a therapist to discuss his problems?
No.
He just told her, hey, I'm an engineer. I don't have problems. I have solutions.
Oh, God. How did that go over?
That explains a lot. I've been telling my wife that for years. All right, folks. So on today's show, I want to get into the world of absolute horror for anybody in the design world, right? A topic that inspires so much fear in all of us that I'm calling this episode the Trifecta of Terror. So what deeply disturbing concepts from the utter depths of oblivion are we discussing? We're talking about changing your CAD system. Ooh, spooky, right? Look, guys, I get it. The idea of changing away from the CAD system that you know and trust. I mean, even if you hate it and the crazy, insane cost that comes with it, it's a huge step. And people, especially CAD and design folks, they will automatically, run from the room, refusing to even discuss the idea of changing CAD systems, right? The thing is, all of us really need to look at this because it's costing most companies hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, or at the very least, it is seriously impeding your daily work processes. So what do I mean by that? Look, over the last couple of years here, maybe two or so, the major CAD systems in our industry, we'll say Autodesk, I'm not going to hide who's doing this, right? They're the big player. They've all gone to the concepts of what they call named licenses, all right? And that's their very polite way that they have of saying they want you paying full price for anybody who so much as looks at a CAD system. And that really, it's led to a lot of us having to make some very hard decisions with regard to our design staff. So either, we're going to pony up and we're going to buy very, very expensive seats of software for every single person in our design team, or alternatively, right, we just decide we have to take CAD away from people who really do need it in order to save a substantial amount of money here, right? We just can't afford to give it to every engineer, every project manager, And look, engineers and project managers, like I said, they're taking the brunt of those cuts, right? They're losing the ability to open and edit and review and get, important information from the CAD files. They have to wait and get somebody else to do it for them. And what I want to talk about today are the alternatives available and why you don't need to be afraid of supplementing your current system with a better, more affordable one like BricsCAD. So, Rocco, with our clients, what's kind of the ratio, I guess, between people who have just, they went out and said, all right, fine, we'll just purchase a ton more licenses to meet this name licensing requirement, versus those who have just said, look, we're just going to have to cut and take CAD seats away from people?
Yeah, cutting is obviously a bigger ratio because it comes down to a big difference in cost here, right? I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars per seat, per user a year, and we love the Autodesk products, and we've had plenty of Autodesk folks on our podcast here. So it's not a matter of knocking Autodesk or their employees. It's just a matter of survival for a lot of these companies and the amount of money that they're putting out. So, what's the first thing you do? Well, does that person really need the software? Does that person really need the software? That's the easier route, let's say, but then it's a cycle, right? Because now you're cutting people off and their ability to be able to do their work, or the people are coming up with trying to get crafty ways of getting access to the software, and it's all messy.
Yeah,
It's a messy process.
It absolutely is. All right, so let's kind of hit on my trifecta theory here, right? Which is that there are three big reasons why people are afraid to even talk about changes to their CAD system. And the first leg here is compatibility. Right? We are all worried about losing the work that we've spent decades developing in our current system, right? And having to deal with new file types and file conversions and inconsistencies between files. And we're also worried about our active jobs, right? How do we collaborate and work on the files we're dealing with today if some of us are on an old system in Autodesk and some people move to CAD? Well, let's be blunt about this, right? Most of you guys are working in some Autodesk product, whatever one you're doing, and you're using DWG files. That's what we all do. Right? The big thing that you need to understand is that CAD uses the exact same version of DWG files, right, that Autodesk products do, right, as its native file. So there's no need for conversions of any kind. I mean, you can literally go in and I can open up this current DWG I'm working on today. I open it up in CAD and I work on it and I save it. And then somebody else can open it and edit it in any Autodesk product. No problem, no issues. They save it. I open it back up in CAD and back and forth a million times. You can work in both systems simultaneously with no worries. And that's a huge load off your mind, right? I mean, archive data, deliverables, active files. Nothing needs to change when you introduce CAD into your design environment. And just in case you guys are wondering, right, the DWG file formats, those are developed by a third party called the Open DWG Alliance, of which both Autodesk and CAD are alliance members. So even going down the road, as DWG file format changes and come up, they're both still going to be on that exact same format with the same backwards compatibility to every DWG you've ever made. So, let me ask you this, Rocco. When you talk to people about CAD, does that concern over compatibility, does that come up a lot?
Yeah, for sure. And it comes up often enough that, from a sales discussion standpoint, it's kind of a point that we lead with, right? Because let's take away that fear or that worry or that objection to even moving forward with discussing CAD further.
Yep. Yeah, and that's it, right? You take off the first leg of the trifecta, and then you can move on to the second, which is, the second concern here in our trifecta of terror is familiarity. All right. The idea of losing the skills, the tools, the formatting, the templates, and all the processes that, in some cases we spent decades putting together as a firm, right? For a lot of us, the worst case scenario that we can imagine, right, is putting your best veteran CAD user into a new system, and he instantly reverts back to being a noob, right? Because he has to relearn an entirely new system from the ground up. And I absolutely understand that. And familiarity is one of the primary reasons why we got involved with CAD here at Zentech and why we actually recommend it to so many people. Look, and here, I can't do it justice on a podcast where you're doing is listen to me talk. But there are videos on our website, right, that you guys can go visit that do kind of like side-by-side comparisons on the same screen between AutoCAD and CAD. And the truth is, they're nearly identical. The day-to-day operational tools in both of those CAD packages are so similar that you can actually use the exact same template files. The pen weight tables, your Lisp routines, shortcuts, annotation styles, layer structures, even your plotting setups. You can use the same file in both packages. And when I say the same file, That's exactly what I mean, all right? There is no need to convert it or update it in any way. You can just point BricsCAD to the folder on your server or the cloud where those files are in your current Autodesk system, and they work. That's it. No changes needed, right? So, the bottom line of this is that any user who is comfortable in an AutoCAD-based environment can sit down in front of a BricsCAD system and just work. It is that similar. Right? Even things like, the icons and the tabs and the ribbon panels and the tool locations and even the command macros, the shortcuts, they're all identical, right? So if you're used to going like, oh, I hit M at the, on my keyboard and I hit M enter to move something, or if I hit C for copy, right? Those shortcuts work exactly the same way in BricsCAD as they do in the AutoCAD or Autodesk based systems. So, Rocco, we put a lot of folks in the BricsCAD driver's seat, right, with different demos over the years. What's their reaction to this interface when they sit down and start to use it for the first time?
Yeah, it's what you just described. I mean, this is AutoCAD. They can't believe it. They're like, this is exactly like AutoCAD. Now once you get into some of the more advanced features of BricsCAD, yeah, you're going to see differences. I mean, it's a company that's based, out of Belgium, and it's a different product, but at its core, it's very, very similar to AutoCAD. And yeah, when people download the trial, and you could download it right off of our website if you want, you'll see how similar it really is.
Yeah. It's actually funny. The first comment I almost always get is people go, "Dude, is this legal?" It's AutoCAD. Is it legal? Did they just steal? I'm like, no, It's perfectly legal. Nothing's wrong here. It's all on the up and up. All right, I tell you what, let's take a break to let our sponsors get a word in here today. And when we get back, I want to hit on the third part of our trifecta here, along with some general concepts on how to best integrate a new CAD system into your current work environment. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's episode of the Cattle Call Podcast is brought to you by ZenTech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. We're bringing ourselves to you. Aren't we nice? So we wanted to talk to you guys today about some of the things that we offer at ZenTech Consultants. In particular, we wanted to talk to you today about our offerings around developing and upgrading your CAD standards. We are here to help you guys with all of your CAD standard needs, from ongoing drafting and design support to block and library development, full CAD standards development, right, CAD version upgrades, really whatever it is that you guys need when it comes to developing, implementing, and tweaking your current CAD standards. Or like I said, if you don't have any yet, we can help you build them from scratch. So Rocco, why don't you tell all the good folks how they can reach out to us and start that conversation?
Yeah, there's a lot of information, people, on our website, zentechconsultants.net. That's ZENTEK consultants.net. Or you can give us a call, 866-824-4459, or even drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
Ooh, nice. CAD standards from ZenTech Consultants. You're listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about updating your CAD system, right? Or what I'm calling today the trifecta of terror. And in the top half of the show, we hit on the first two components of this fear trifecta. And now I want to get into the third leg of our tripod, right? Which I call affordability. And the fear part of this is the potential loss of revenue in downtime, right? For, training your staff on a new system, right? And updating everything to a new system, or converting files, right? And the potential loss of data, or the confusion that can be introduced when you switch into a new program and a new file format. And the good thing here, right, is that, the conversation we had in the first half of the show around compatibility and familiarity, we really already addressed all of that. Right? When you're moving into a system like BricsCAD, those concerns don't really exist. Right? So the fear part goes right away, right? Once you understand the first two, but there is still, however, a very serious affordability and cost related concern that you do need to address. And honestly, it is probably the single biggest driving concern in this conversation, right? And It's how much more you're paying each year for Autodesk products than you guys really need to. Look, at the end of the day, right, BricsCAD only costs a third of what a matching seat of basic vanilla AutoCAD costs every year. Right? That means that for every seat of AutoCAD you guys own, you can afford to buy 3 seats of BricsCAD. You triple your license base immediately. And look, even if you only use BricsCAD for those engineers and designers who need, CAD for review purposes, right? And you leave your Autodesk verticals like Civil 3D, et cetera, in place for your heavy CAD users, you're looking at saving over $1,300 per seat every year over just basic AutoCAD, right? If you guys are swapping out, right, one of the more expensive, the AEC collection that has all of the software under the sun, you're looking at saving $2,850 per seat every single year. I mean, look, if you're looking at like 50 or more seats of CAD, you are talking about saving over $100,000 every single year. And that is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, unless you guys are making a lot more money than me and Rocco. Well, maybe not Rocco. Rocco makes all the monies. Rocco, does potential downtime cost versus the cost savings from BricsCAD come up a lot when you're talking with CAD clients on this stuff?
Yeah, it's a logical, question or point to bring up. And the reality is that there's minimal downtime, and I mean very minimal downtime, and you can expand on that from the technical aspect. But again, that's why we advise people, download the trial and see for yourself. I mean, we could always set up a demo and deeper discussion with you, but the downtime is minimal when you look at against the cost, right? I mean, it's certainly worth looking at.
Yeah, with those kind of a price differential, it's irresponsible not to at least look at it, right? Maybe it's not perfect for everybody, but if you're not looking at it, you're doing a disservice to your company. One other thing that I do want to hit on, while we're talking about BricsCAD here, is that I want to stress to you, it's not just a basic 2D drafting system like AutoCAD, right? BricsCAD also includes a fully functional civil package that lets you do things like, import survey points and create 3D tins and generate corridors and so on, and point labeling and, spot elevations, right? All that stuff that's really particularly useful in the survey space. BricsCAD also has a full-blown BIM modeling package that honestly I find far easier to use and work with than I do Revit. And it may just be because I'm not a Revit expert. It's not my thing. I'm a civil guy. But I find the BricsCAD BIM really easy to use. And it comes, by the way, with the added benefit of working naturally in DWG format so that anybody can open it and use the BricsCAD BIM data without having to go out and buy, expensive Revit licenses, right? And while I'm on that subject, by the way, BricsCAD will also open both, Revit and Revit family files for editing. So you can work with those and go back and forth with those if you need to. And BricsCAD even has, a really impressive mechanical package that's really, really simple to use. Even a knucklehead like me figured it out in about a day. To use for like manufacturing and generating, sheet metal layouts, automating, documentation for parts building and sending out to your shop floor and so on, as built, etc. And the big thing here is that all of these packages are menu based. What that means is, from an IT standpoint, it's all one download. You just download and install BricsCAD one time, right? And then menus just turn on and off based on the license that you assign to each of your users. So all of those packages are one installation file, and that installation file is only about 10% of the size of the basic AutoCAD installation file, right? So that it also adds a huge time and space savings, right, for your IT guys, who have to distribute it and back it up and maintain it as well, right? So there's a lot of benefit there. And look, all of these BricsCAD systems, you can buy them all bundled together, right, in what they call their BricsCAD Ultimate, where you have all the files, have all the tools for every type of work, right? They all work in just the same DWG file. You're just switching, menus. And even that full function is still $1,000 per seat, less than the Autodesk AEC collection, right? Which most of us have and almost none of us really use, right? So instead of buying and loading a ton of Autodesk CAD tools that, again, most people are never going to touch, you get tools that everybody can actually work with, right? Just by switching menus right on the same screen in the same file. It's as easy as it could get. So there you go. Say, hey, Rocco, there was your good sales pitch for BricsCAD for today, right? So where do folks go to see it and download a demo or see it in action or set up a demo with us? What do they do?
Yeah, let me just quickly point out the licensing options for BricsCAD, just so that you guys are aware. You can actually buy BricsCAD in perpetual license, as perpetual licenses, or as annual licenses, and as single users, or as multi-user or network licenses. So it's important to note that. And of course, our website, we're Bricks' partners, and we can. That's a place where you can download the trial. It's zentechconsultants.net. You could see a ton of videos, or we could always happy to set up a demo and deeper discussion with you.
There you go. All right. So for the last thing today, I want to talk about the best way to integrate BricsCAD into your CAD system. And I want you guys to note, I am using the word integrate and not replace. Look, Autodesk's vertical products, right, like Civil 3D and Revit and Inventor, they're really high-end design tools that are meant for power users to do their design work on a daily basis, and they are really, really good at what they do. I honestly believe that you need to keep those systems in place for the people who are doing the hardcore design, we'll say. BricsCAD has tools and features for working in those environments very easily and getting data. But honestly, it doesn't have the same level of full-blown design capacity and capability that those Autodesk vertical products do. BricsCAD just doesn't. Where BricsCAD fits into your system, it's for people who need CAD access without all of those intense design requirements, right? So look, if you're paying for a project manager or an executive engineer to have an AEC collection, you're throwing a ton of money out the window, right? BricsCAD will work best as a supplemental system, right? It'll let you provide CAD to everybody who needs it. So, financial concerns aren't forcing you to take it away from them because they're not, designers working in, CAD all day, every day, right? And I think, getting back to my terror theory here, I think a lot of the serious pushback that you guys probably face whenever you try to, broach this conversation is the idea of a full replacement. That's where people freak out, particularly your CAD guys, right? CAD people know that the high-end design processes, right? Like Rocco was saying earlier, when you get into the more advanced stuff, it's very different, right? They know those high-end design processes will always require retraining. And they are rightly concerned that, the advanced tools may not work the way they need to, or maybe even not even work at all, in the way that they're hoping they would. And the answer here is to leave your vertical Autodesk users alone. Leave those guys be. That's you. Autodesk has, the most powerful systems out there for that type of work. Your guys are the best at it. Let them have the tools that they need to get their job done the best way they can. For the rest of us, which is usually the majority of your users, right, who are just opening, reviewing, printing, making some minor edits to files, right? They're checking some dimensions. Right? They just need a reliable, simple, and way more affordable tool like BricsCAD so they can just go in, open it up, get what they need, and move on. Okay? Rocco, we actually have 3 videos that we did, right, that are showing the tripod of terror and how BricsCAD addresses those problems. How do folks find those videos?
Yeah, of course, all this stuff is, again, on our website, zentechconsultants.net. But you guys should check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a few videos that Jim has done there, just a few.
Just a few. 100.
So yeah, definitely check it out.
All right, folks, and with that, we're going to get out of here and let you all get back to the vast and exciting world of design, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from y'all.